Well, really, the only experience with depression I've ever had has been with my grandmother, and she's had clinical depression as long as I can remember, pretty much. I was never really aware that it was clinical depression until a couple years ago, but she would go through just different experiences, and my mom really dealt with it the most. And I, as a kid, could observe this, but couldn't really comprehend or understand what it was. And a couple years ago, when her depression got really bad, and she actually went to the hospital, into a psychiatric ward, I actually was of age, and I got to go and visit her. And I had heard all these things about how scary it would be to go into like the mental institution, or like people call it all kinds of different things, like the loony bin and the nut house and all that kind of thing. And I went and I visited my grandmother every couple days for about 2 weeks, and she was recovering really well, and she was recovering faster than a lot of the other patients. And what I saw was just a lot of people who, they had issues, and a lot of them did have depression, some of them had other illnesses. And with state funding being cut, there were just a lot of different people being cared for in this one unit, and it was really hard for the nurses to really be able to help each person individually, because there just wasn't the funding to care for them as best as the state really could. And what I observed over the course of those 2 weeks, there's just a lot of patients who didn't get visitors because people didn't understand really what mental illness is, or how to deal with it. And so a lot of patients, their families just didn't come visit them because it was hard, or it was difficult, or they didn't understand. But I really just got to see how these people were human beings too. And I would talk to them, and some of them were a little crazy. But overall, I kind of got to know them and just really see that they had the same human spirit that I did. And that even if it didn't seem like they were pulling through, that they still kind of would have this light in their eyes when I would talk to them, or when the nurses would come in and help them. And so it was kind of really an interesting experience, and just something I'll never forget, and kind of helps me see depression and other mental illnesses kind of in a different light now.